say good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to EHAC Racing's test race. Basically what we're going to do tonight is have a little test around this lovely circuit here and test some of our things that we want to do for this series of racing. Obviously, for those of you that haven't seen us before, you're probably watching this on our YouTube channel, probably not live, but it's obviously been streamed live. That's on Mondays at 8 o'clock, mark that one in your calendar. And obviously you can watch what we hope will be as near as damn it to watching a live race, but obviously on a PlayStation 4. Work that one out. Main rules that we're going to look at then, that are different to any other sim racing group that you may be watching on YouTube or anywhere else, is the fact that we are dispensing with the PS4 and Project CARS 2 track limits. Effectively what we're going to do is go back to what they do in Formula 1 and other types of motor racing, which is effectively have a race director. The race director for our series will be the man that you're currently watching, who's just gallivanting around in a vehicle. He's basically going out there today. That's Medicate 2010. He is the man who has created EHAC Racing, which is everyone has a chance. Because we'll be doing things like reverse grids and things like that, just to try and mix things up a little bit. Idea being that we don't have one person running away with everything. We're going to try and look at things like success ballast and one or two other things. Basically, the easy way to look at it is to call it a bit like handicap horse racing, except these horses are made of polycarbonate and carbon and etc, and under the engine there's probably about 600 red rums, for those of you old enough to remember what red rum really is. However, like I say, we're looking into these things, we're looking into these ways to try and make the online racing a little bit more realistic in the way that things are done. So in a normal race, if things happen, Matt will be race director, so he will be looking around at various things on track, using various different camera angles, in the same way that I am to a certain extent when I'm commentating here, except his will be independent of mine. So he can have a look, see what's going on around the track, if there is a race incident. If I see something, I can maybe draw his attention to it, because if we're looking at the YouTube stream, which we'll both have available, the YouTube stream is approximately 3 or 4 seconds behind, might even be 5. So if something does happen, it gives us enough time to be able to jump across and just have a look, just in case we need a second look at something. Obviously he is able to do that. He is in direct contact with all the race drivers, so he can turn around and say, car number 25 or whoever it is, you were directly responsible for pushing car number 26 off the track. You've got a drive-through penalty, or you've got a 10-second stop-go penalty, or whatever that penalty may be. So again, it's realistic, the decision is made in real time, a live decision is made on the basis of what has actually happened on the track. And then obviously everybody knows what's going on, it happens in real time. It's not after the race where everyone puts in protest and says this, that and the other, blah blah blah. It's actually done there and then. If a driver disagrees with it, then obviously, yeah, it could be looked at after the race, and the original decision will either stand, which it probably would in most cases, I would imagine. However, if there are mitigating circumstances that may have been missed in real time, they could be looked at. So again, it's just trying to make things a bit more fair, a bit more real. From the handicap perspective, again, you can look at it, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying, but probably one of our fastest drivers will be Brooksy 044. I'm fully expecting him to be one of the fastest, if not the fastest. If somebody else beats him, then I will stand corrected. However, for example, if we have somebody like him, who is generally pretty fast, especially in an LMP2, then we might get somebody else who's not so much used to these cars and obviously may not be anywhere near as fast. So in race 1, for example, Mr. Brooksy 044 might end up winning the race comfortably. So effectively there, he may win race 1 comfortably. In race 2, what that would mean is that it's a reverse grid. He will start last on the grid. He may have to carry more fuel than somebody else in terms of being able to do that. So obviously that would give him a little bit of a disadvantage. Like handicap horse racing, the faster a driver you are, the more of a handicap you will get. And obviously over time, if you keep winning, then that will keep happening. So, without further ado, obviously we've done our little elapsed time there for that. So we're going to do a 10-lap race. A 10-lap race to test out a few of our things, see how the guys are doing and so forth. Like I say, Matt's probably using this as a chance to see that he's as good as anybody else, which I'm sure he is. I'm sure he'll do okay with this. I'm sure he'll do quite fine. So obviously we are just waiting for everybody to go ready. There's obviously, for those of you that know Project Cars, you've got a 2-minute delay. Just gives everybody time to set pit strategies, etc, etc. I'm not going to run through all of our rules right now for the moment, but I think they're just getting ready for the red lights to come up. Am I going to get them? Yes, I am. Green for go. Obviously, here we go. That's not the best of starts for that, but we can certainly see what's going on. And true to form, Mr. Brooksy has taken an early lead and taken a very wide stance around the first corner. Hopefully for the rest of the gents, if we drop back a little bit, we're looking through everybody as they're all passing through that corner. Obviously I'm trying to pan across so we can have a look at various different ones. Oh, somebody's gone wide. Oh, somebody's spun. Who have we got there? We got Ryan there, Subaru STI Ryan. Just had a little spin. Nicely corrected, I might add. Let's have a look. That's the first spin, but again, like I say, for most of these guys, it might be a case of them getting used to this car. It might take a bit of getting used to, but he's pretty decent, is Mr. Ryan, so I think he will, within these 10 laps, I think he'll try and catch up pretty well. In the meantime, we have Mr. Brooks, who's just drifted, nearly lost it going into that corner there. Well held, I might say. Managed to save that one pretty well there. Give him some kudos for doing that. In all fairness, thought you were going to lose it, but you just about held on. So obviously that's keeping his lead happy. Obviously our organiser here in his very orange and blue, and yeah, that's pretty fetching, isn't it? That's a bit like a technical dream, that car, Matt. Why did you choose that one? That's probably why. Just behind him is Adrianson 1311 or 1311, depending on how you want to say it. I'm sure he'll let me know. Behind it is Sevens 031968. I would imagine that means he's S. Evans and he was born on the 19th of the 3rd of 68. If so, he's 20 days younger than me, because I was born on the 27th of the 2nd, 68. Just throw that away. For a 50-year-old bloke, I look great. And I'm very modest. Anyway, enough about me. So, like I say, as we're running through everybody, this is Thunderhead 74, who was very happy not so long ago, because he's a Liverpool fan. But anyone's, all these people have got their crosses to bear, and they bless them, can't do everything. And into Theo D, who I believe is, well, he speaks German and English, and I'm assuming that he's based in Germany. I'm sure he let me know whereabouts in Germany he is, just so we can get to know these guys, but these two are going to stay here for a moment, because these two are pretty close. I think, he's just, he ran wide there, I think, Thunderhead, and I think Theo got through there. He did, was it? It's a nice little move. I think Thunderhead tried to outbrake him there, but I don't think that worked. I'm sure he'd let me know if I was wrong. In the meantime, Mark is getting used to this LMP2, and he's currently in 7th. And Subaru STI Ryan, who had that unfortunate spin earlier on, I think he's catching up slowly but surely. That's a pretty good drift, mate. I caught that one and truly. You'll like that on the replay. That's an impressive drift. If this was a drift race, you'd be doing really well. In all fairness. Well, like I say, hopefully everybody will use this to get used to the LMP2 before we kick off the season. For those of you that are going to be watching this, like I say, this is just a 10-lap race initially, just seeing how things are going. Just a bit of a tester. Obviously, I've got the live stream on here as well, and it looks quite decent, so I'm hoping that everything will look decent for those of you that will watch it at a later date on YouTube. Probably some of the guys that are racing in this race, so they can have a look at it. So what I'll try and do is scoot around a little bit, have a look at a few different people. Like I say, I've got the speedo on down here. I'll put the map up there as well, that's probably helpful, isn't it? Don't want to fill the screen up too much, but I think when you can see where people are on the track and stuff. It's a bit grim reading for Mr. Ryan at the moment, but I'm sure he'll do alright in catch up. As I think, like I say, you saw a spin from Brooksy 044 as well, so even the best guys do that too. And also I might add in favour of the guys that we've just had an update on Project CARS 2, which allegedly has changed some of the physics to do with the tracks and tyres and track limits and one or two other bits and bobs. So we'll probably be able to put some of this down to that. I think there may be some slight changes, even if people have got setups, there may be some tweaks that need to be done because of the changes with Project CARS. But hey, it's Project CARS, these things happen, guys. And if you play this game, you know exactly where I'm coming from. So we're into lap 4 anyway. Mr. Brooks has got himself a 6.5 second lead. I think in all fairness, he's going to be favourite for a bit of ballast. I think a 1-ton anvil on the back of the car might be kind of handy. Ooh, I spoke too soon. Oh, he's just fudged it completely. He's just done an impromptu donut. Is there any cream with that one, or is it a jam donut? I'm sure he'll let me know afterwards. Mechanical damage, good question. I'm sure somebody's mentioned a fact about mechanical damage. I'm going to find out and see if that is actually up on that. Well, I'm going to double check. So I'm just going to see into all this, because we do have various things on here saying what the settings are. So I'm just going to double check those. Well, Mr. Brooks's spin has helped in getting everybody else a little more concertinaed. It's given Matt a little bone to chase after now, so he's probably going to push it a bit now. So there's one of two things: he'll either catch up or he'll spin. It's one of those two things that's going to happen, because you're either going to push it and push it and push it and spin, or you actually do manage to catch up. But we're only halfway through. We're 5 laps into a 10-lap stint, so it's no mad rush, is there? Knowing that Brooksy's had a couple of spins already, then you know what? Sometimes more haste, less speed, I think might be the order of the day. So I'm just having a look here, just while we're racing. So just to give you an idea of what will be running in the lobby, licensing system will be off, default setup will be off. So obviously you can do all your own setups, etc, etc. Full assists are allowed, because obviously we're trying to appeal to any range of driver, whether you are experienced, S-rated, excellent, or whether you're pretty new to this game and still trying to find your feet, or your wheels, should I say, for want of better words. So obviously full assists are allowed, full damage is on. So if you crash, chances are you're going to need a pit stop. So the name of the game is don't push it too far, because if you push it too far, your race is probably over, because if you get engine damage, any of you that's ever had engine damage will know what I mean. You're in the pits for pretty much lunch. So basically full assist allowed, full damage is on, track limits are off, of course, as I said before. Pit lane penalties are on. Tyre wear is accelerated to obviously, hopefully, generate that a bit more. Fuel is on, of course, which we have to have. It says tyre wear accelerated again, just for twice, but it won't accelerate it any further. Wait for race ready input, which is our 2 minutes before. No ghosting. Pit lane control is manual. Obviously weather conditions will be allowed in there, but obviously it says full damage on, but it doesn't say anything about mechanical failures. So my interpretation on that one, that's a question I'll have to raise. It's one I should have noticed actually, but I didn't. But mechanical failures, I'm assuming, because it doesn't mention them there, you'd think they would be off. So if they are set to on, well, we might have a slight problem. But that's okay. So as I say, we've got the 6 there. I think we've lost Thunderhead, haven't we? Because I'm assuming he's died with the mechanical failure, and he wasn't aware that mechanical failures are on. I'm just going to jump. So that's okay, as I jump straight back in, that's okay. So sorry about that for a moment, I just had to go and do something. So you just lost a bit of coverage for a moment. I'm sure you get over it. So we're lap 7 into 10. There might have been a slight mistake there in terms of that, because obviously I think Thunderhead had gone, obviously expecting no mechanical failures. Cars, it doesn't say that, and I think Matt may have set it with mechanical failures on, and therefore if he didn't open up his radiator or anything like that, chances are he might have blown his engine. So I think chances are that's something that's happened. So obviously what I will do is I'll probably get a message across about that, just to see about those. Yeah. Yeah, so there certainly shouldn't have been mechanical failures on there from what I can see. Yeah, so if his engine's blown, then to me that possibly they set it to mechanical failures when the rules don't say that there are mechanical failures. So I'm not aware of those being there, so that's something that we just need to clarify, just to make certain of. I'm pretty sure that that's probably what's happened to Thunderhead, that his engine's blown. Yeah. Let's have a see. Obviously I'll find that one out, but it's not in the rules. Errors and omissions accepted, maybe, but that's something we need to clarify, obviously. There's no point everybody starting out with a closed radiator and then your engine blows after 5 laps. That's really not going to help. It says full damage, yes, but that's damage. That's a different thing compared to mechanical failures. Damage is usually incurred when you crash into a wall or something. So obviously I will we will get that one clarified. Because obviously, we don't want that happening. Yeah, no, it shouldn't be there, like I say. So I think he may be that might be a slight mistake on his part there. So obviously we can double check that one out. I'm assuming that was an engine blow. So a lap 9 of 10 anyway, and obviously by the time we come back into this, like I say, it's a bit of a tester this. It's just a tester to test certain things out, just see what happens with regard to running these cars, how everybody is with them, what the feel is for them. Just so we can double check with everything. Let's see on here. Let's see. Just a little bit. So anyway, slight disaster a bit with that, but obviously we managed to still get the race going. Obviously we can sort those little bits of things out, but obviously, like I say, it's as much as a test broadcast as anything else. Hopefully everything works out reasonably well. I'd like to be able to hide this camera matrix that we got there. The engine's all over the place. So here we are in a chase camera, looking at Mark. So what I'm just going to do as our leader has overtook. I think Mr. Brooks must have had another spin. I missed that while I was sorting out. Nah, but that's okay. It'd be good that I missed it. Not tough. Shouldn't be racing anyway. Jump in the cockpit there on the last lap. He's got a 7. Is he out of fuel? Oh no, race is over. What am I on about? There you go. He'll have his smug face on now because he's won. That would definitely be a smug face. I'm sorry you're disqualified. You're not allowed to take part. Oh dear. There we go. Mr. Brooks is sat there first. Why are you sat there? Ah, they're going to have a face-off. Come on. It's going to be crash time when you're in this lap. And there we go. That brings to an end our test broadcast. Hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, tell me why. Because it was great, even if I say so myself. You know it was good.